I am calling on the Secretary to resign. He cannot and must not remain in that position. If Secretary Mayorkas does not resign, House Republicans will investigate every order, every action, and every failure will determine whether we can begin impeachment inquiry.
And things will happen fast. That was House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, who will likely become Speaker in January. He visited the southern border yesterday and called for Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas to either resign or face impeachment in January.
And joining us now is former Acting Border Patrol Commissioner and visiting fellow of the Heritage Foundation, Mark Morgan. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning to you both, and happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Mark, happy Thanksgiving. Kevin McCarthy made that threat yesterday. Congressman Andy Biggs, who's also running to be Speaker, he tweeted out, basically doubling down. He said, let's not be ambiguous. Mayorkas needs to be impeached, period, no hesitation. That's why I was the first member to introduce impeachment articles more than a year ago. How do you think this plays out? We've talked about this a lot. Do you think there's a chance that Mayorkas resigns in shame at some point over the next 6-7 weeks before the impeachment proceedings actually begin in January?
Yeah, Rob, that's a good question. Look, first of all, I agree with everything that McCarthy said and what Representative Biggs said. I've been working with Representative Biggs and his team for a while, and other patriots like Tom Homan, shoulder to shoulder, calling for Secretary Mayorkas' resignation or impeachment for a long time. Look, we know that Mayorkas has been this administration's chief architect with respect to their open border policies. He literally took the most secure border in our lifetime and intentionally unsecured it. Right now, in the first 22 months, we've had over 4.5 million encounters, 1.1 million known gotaways. We know drugs are pouring in this country, literally killing Americans every single day. We know among the 1.1 million known gotaways are hardcore criminals, murderers, rapists, pedophiles, aggravated felons, gang members. Just last week, the CBP encountered and apprehended an illegal alien that had raped a disabled minor in New York, and the list goes on. We know among the 1 million known gotaways, there are potential national security threats. The next terrorist sleeper cell could literally be in the United States already planning the next terrorist attack. Meanwhile, this Secretary Mayorkas, lies to the American people, lies to Congress, and refuses to admit there's even a crisis going on. It's why I say he's the most dangerous man in this country. But look, to go to your question, Rob, I think that the White House sees the writing on the wall. They know what's going on. I think they're going to put pressure on Secretary Mayorkas to resign to prevent them the embarrassment of being drugged through hearings. I don't think I'm skeptical. I don't think Secretary Mayorkas' ego and pride is going to let him do what he needs to do and what is in the best interest of this country.
Yeah, that's the big question, too. So Kevin McCarthy down there yesterday, the Democrats, including Karine Jean-Pierre, said this is just a political stunt and they don't have a plan. But if you listen to what he was saying, there is a plan. So the Democrats, though, continuing to say that Republicans don't have a plan and nothing will get done. But say Mayorkas is impeached and Republicans, are in charge. What do you see changing when that happens?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because, look, that's just another lie on top of the plethora of lies coming from this administration, and specifically this White House press secretary. Remember, this is the same individual who said to a reporter, hey, it's not like they just literally walk across the border. When, yes, that's exactly what they do every day, all day long. And you're right, they have a plan. Look, there have been many conservative think tanks that have been working with congressional leadership for a very long time now, the last 2 years. We produced a coalition letter that really outlined what the plan is, provided a roadmap. A few weeks later, under McCarthy and other leadership, they actually put out a framework that said exactly how and what we need to do to secure the border. So it's there. I mean, we need to reform the asylum process. We need to address the forced settlement agreement that says that if you're a family unaccompanied minor, you get to be released in the United States, no questions asked. We need to reinstate the asylum cooperative agreements, the safe third countries agreements that said if you transverse through a safe third country, you have to apply for asylum there. We need to codify the Remain in Mexico program. Look, I could go on and on. These are exactly the same things that congressional members on the Republican side have been saying needs to be part of the plan to secure the border. So it's just another blatant lie. And on day one, the House members on the Republican side, they need to do just that. They need to pass a bill out of the House on day one that outlines that roadmap to secure the border, and they need to impeach Secretary Mayorkas if he hasn't resigned.
They're serious, whether it's Biggs or McCarthy with the gavel. They are serious. It certainly sounds like it. And I know it probably made your blood boil. There were migrants a few days ago taunting Border Patrol agents on the other side of the Rio Grande River saying, hey, basically as soon as Title 42 is rolled back, we're coming over and there's nothing you can do about it. These are not the best and brightest that are coming here. And they're from countries all over the globe, not just countries in Central and South America. This has gotten so out of control. It's so ridiculous. Alejandro Mayorkas last week testified. His quote, "The border is secure." It's not. It's not. Mark Morgan, have a great Thanksgiving. Do not talk about this at Thanksgiving dinner. Table this for dinner.
It's going to be hard. I'll try.
Yeah, we'll pick it up next week, my friend. Good seeing you. Thank you.